Now, one of the cool features of macOS is the concept called spaces. Now, spaces is pretty cool, right? Where you can have like multiple applications running in full screen mode across different desktops, or you can just have multiple desktops which you can kind of swipe between. So let me show you what I mean by this. If I open up my web browser here, and I'm just going to go to any given website. Oops, hope I typed that correctly. There we go. All right, so I go to Google, and I'm going to put this in full screen mode, right? Now in full screen mode, you'll see there is nothing else that I can do here. Like if you're used to Windows, this is a little bit different to how Windows deals with full screen. But if I take 4 fingers now and I swipe right on my trackpad, look what happens. I go back to the other screen. I can also hold down the control button and use the cursor keys to swipe between these 2 screens. Okay? So that's if that is in full screen mode. Now, if I swipe up from here, you'll see that at the top I get a little bar, and if I go to the bar, it will show me that one desktop has got like the actual desktop. The other desktop now has DuckDuckGo, right? Now, if I go in and I say I don't want this to be full screen anymore, it will pop it back into the regular desktop, and as you can see, I don't have any other screens now. But if I click on plus, I can create a second or a third or a fourth desktop, right, which I can now navigate between. So I can have my web browser open on one screen, I can have the App Store open on another screen, I can have my settings open on another screen, and I can have a media player open on my 4th screen, okay? And again, I can just swipe between these as I see fit. So I can have multiple different applications open all over the place without any issues whatsoever. Also, this is helpful if if you're at work and you're busy working on something on one screen, and then as soon as your boss gets up and moves away, you can flip over to the other screen and start playing and continue playing the game that you were playing previously. We all know it happens. Let's not pretend it doesn't. All right, so that's spaces. Next is something called focus. So in order to use focus, you're going to go up here to the little control center, and you'll see we have this focus item here. Right now I can click on this and I can choose a few different things, right? I have just flat out do not disturb. I can do that for 1 hour. I can do it till this evening. I can do it just on until I turn it off. I also have work focus right here. But if I go into focus settings, you can actually see what these consist of, right? It was basically what these do is that they silence any notifications which may slide in from the right hand side. So here you can see I can make exceptions as well, right? If I go to my other do not disturb, oh, maybe I don't have an exception. But let's say that I was like, okay, I don't want to be disturbed unless it's my wife, okay? And if it's my wife, then she can absolutely disturb me because, she likely has something important she needs to discuss, all right? So going into do not disturb mode means that every single notification is going to be silenced. You can still get to those notifications by clicking on the clock up here, right? But by and large, you're not going to be disturbed, obviously, by what's going on elsewhere. Next thing I want to show to you is something called airdrop. Now, airdrop, you've got to be a little bit careful with here, right? In fact, it's not. Oh, yeah, it is listed here. No, it's not. Never mind. Airdrop. There we go. Right. So airdrop can be found by going to the command center again. And if I click on this, it's going to see, yep, airdrop is turned on, and who can send me items via airdrop? Either contacts only or everyone, right? Now, first of all, let's take a look at what airdrop actually consists of, okay? So if I go into the Finder window and click on airdrop, you can see what's going to happen here is that this is going to populate the different items which are on and within Wi-Fi range where airdrop is enabled, right? So what I can do here is that I can take a file, right? And let's just see, I'm going to grab the Stark one here, drag it into airdrop. Maybe I did that. I think I need to drop it onto the actual person. There we go, sorry. Right, what it will do now, as you can see, it's automatically sending it to, or it has now sent it to my iPad. Likewise, if I decide that I want to use my iPad and send a picture here, you'll see, bang, straight into the downloads, okay? So now I have two versions of that Stark picture right here, not just the one, okay? Now, this setting down here, right, the same setting that we saw up here, is that you can set this to no one, where airdrop is essentially turned off, contacts only, so only people who you have actually saved as contacts in your account, or you can do everyone. Now, if you do everyone, this leaves you open to being spammed whenever you're in a public place, right? And this happened quite a lot on iOS, for example, right? People are carrying their phones around in busy places like restaurants or malls or airports, and they will suddenly start getting spammed with all kinds of people trying to send them pictures of varying levels of appropriateness. You get the idea about what I'm talking about. So what's happened on iOS now is that Apple has said, yes, you can do everyone, but you can only do it for 15 minutes. And then it will default back to contacts only. All right. So that way, it's less likely that you're going to get inundated with inappropriate pictures from random people walking around, wherever. But this is a pretty cool little thing. If you have a file that you want to share with somebody, regardless of whether in your contacts or not, you can absolutely do so. AirDrop is very secure in the way it handles like the back end of AirDrop, and so these things can't easily be intercepted and things like that. So it's a nice way of sharing that information. But just bear in mind that in order for AirDrop to work like that, you have to be physically in a similar location or near that person who is doing the sharing or who you want to share to. All right. Next thing I want to show to you is widgets. And this is quite new, right? You're not going to see this on older versions of macOS. But if I go to edit widgets here, what I can do is that we have a ton of different widgets available. All right. So what I can do is that I can select them from here underneath all widgets, or I can choose specific widgets down here. But what this allows me to do is I can just hit plus and it will stick these widgets on my desktop. All right. So I can do like battery. I can do what? Let's see. Weather. Some of these, in fact, all of these are really based on your phone, so they will only kind of synchronize information close to your phone, right? So we'll do that. Oh, we'll stick in a flip clock, why not? Alright, and as we do these, you can see them all being populated kind of in the background here. Then, once I'm done, I'm going to hit done there. And if I open like another application, notice what kind of happens in the background is that they all go black and white so as not to offer like a significant distraction from what's going on. If I click back on the desktop, they go back to full color. If I go back to the application, they go back to like that black and white again. So that's it for this episode. Thank you for watching, and please come back again.